And greetings, Facebook TV is live. Episode number 20. This is our Copyrights and Contract series. I'm Charlotte Pierce, the producer. And today we have special guest Christopher Keneally from the Copyright Clearance Center. Hi, Chris.
Hello there, everyone. Nice to see you. Thank you for inviting me, Charlotte.
Yeah, this is a issue that's critical to, or critical interest to our membership at the Independent Publishers of New England and Facebook TV audience. So I just wanted to tell people a little bit about Facebook TV. We're a new community media magazine that looks through the eyes of independent publishers, authors, booksellers, and readers all around New England and beyond. Facebook takes you inside bookshops. We go into coffee shops where author writing groups are meeting, print shops, libraries. We love to go to printing plants and show what's going on there, and bookshelves, libraries, any place else where people are writing, making, selling, or reading books. At Facebook, we dive boldly into the swirl of new media in the age of the Kindle, microblogging, cloud computing, and Amazon, and all that good stuff. And best of all, Facebook helps you discover exciting, new, independently published books and maybe publish your own. So with that, we'll get into introducing Chris Keneally. You've a longtime member of, or a speaker at the Independent Publishers of New England conferences, and you really are a fountain of information on this topic especially. So why don't you let us know a little bit about what you do at the Copyright Clearance Center and what you might be talking about today?
Well, sure. I was hoping we could start with a slide here because we're talking about copyright, and there are a lot of famous quotations around copyright. People are probably familiar with the one from Mark Twain. He said, whenever a copyright law is to be made or altered, then the idiots assemble. And he was extremely frustrated in his own time with the copyright law and with Congress. But I have my own copyright quote as well that I enjoy sharing with people, which is, when it comes to copyright, if you're confused, you're beginning to understand the problem. It is a complex area of law, and everyone seems to think they know the answers. But really what it comes down to is a judge, usually, who will decide when something's infringing or not. It's interesting to share with this audience, the IPNE audience, that the father of copyright, considered to be the father of American copyright, is Noah Webster, who of course was a New England publisher based in Connecticut. And he first published, he's known for his dictionary, but he first published something called the Blue-Backed Speller that went on to teach 5 generations of American children how to spell and read. And he went to the Connecticut state legislature in 1783 and was able to get copyright protection, the first such copyright in the United States that,
Wow.
that actually predates the U.S. Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
And those royalties that he was able to gather from his publications helped support his family and gave him the resources to develop the famous dictionary. So on the next slide, Charlotte, I can tell people a bit about copyright law here in the U.S. It is, as I say, part of the Constitution. I think that's really critical. In Article 1, which enumerates the various powers of Congress, you find Section 8, which reads as follows: to promote the progress of science and useful arts by securing for limited times to authors and inventors the exclusive right to their respective writings and discoveries. And there's some words in that are really crucial today. Exclusive right. That's the exclusive right to the creators, to the publishers and the authors in this audience. And as I say, it's important that it's there in the Constitution. It comes right after the clause that establishes the post office, and it comes before the power for Congress to declare war. And I think what that is telling us is that the founders had a sense that innovation, creativity were important to this young nation. And indeed, they have gone on to be so for 200 years or more. The U.S. Copyright Office in 2019 issued more than 547,000 registrations and collected more than $30 million in registration fees. As everyone knows, it's the Copyright Office that is the sort of source of material for the Library of Congress. And so in 2019, the office forwarded some 727,000 works to the Library of Congress for its collection, which is, I believe, the largest library collection in the world. People in the audience who've tried to register for copyright may know this is not free. There is a fee for it. There's a single filing fee of $45. But if you gang up a variety of registrations, it's a $65 fee. And, you know, copyright is, as I say, important to us. And in order to be able to take any action in court, it is necessary to register your copyright. Copyright today is automatic. It used to be, when I was a kid, if you put the copyright symbol on a page, that made copyright. But today, whatever is created in a fixed form, whether it's text on a screen or text on a page, it's automatically copyrighted. The registration process is what allows you to go to court on it.
Right, but what if you don't have $150,000 to fight, you know, movie studio in court?
I'm glad you asked me that question, because the next slide will help to answer it, I think. Begin to help to answer it.
Yeah, let me flash that up again. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
So on December 27th, 2020, so not quite a year, it's really not even a half a year away, President Trump at the time, signed into law the Copyright Alternative in Small Claims Enforcement Act. So as Congress loves to do, it's an acronym for copyright. It's the acronym CASE Act, and that again is Copyright Alternative in Small Claims. And what Congress has done, it is the Copyright Office and Congress have been looking at just that very question you asked, Charlotte, about how expensive it is, how time consuming, how difficult it is for individuals to make any kind of claims in federal court, because copyright law requires going to federal court, and that is expensive. I actually have a figure on the cost of that. Many cases run over $275,000 in lawyers' fees. Now, obviously, that's the sort of thing that only a Disney or a Netflix could afford. So beginning in 2013, there was a series of hearings held by the Copyright Office, and that then helped to spur creation of this so-called Copyright Small Claims Court. And what this has done is to take the jurisdiction to hear infringement suits beyond the federal courts. The statute does not displace or limit the ability to bring any kind of copyright action in a federal court, but it provides an alternative forum to decide small claim copyrights, or small copyright claims, rather. And I use the image of cameras here because it really was individual photographers who first drew this to the attention of Congress, and they were very concerned about how their work had been posted online and then reused in many ways which they never gave permission for or were compensated for.
Have you been following that digital identification for like digital works? There's a new technology.
There's a variety of efforts around that. There's a whole group of standards, identifiers.
NFT or something like that? Or
DOIs, right. There's also an organization called the Plus Coalition, again, primarily for photographers. But the problem with the internet is whenever someone comes up with a solution, somebody else thinks that's a challenge to get around it, and that is, in fact, what has happened with many of those.
I mean, let alone the deep fakes, you know.
Right.
So I had a question, though. One of our members was saying, well, why should we worry, because our works are copyrighted once we have written them or published them? Why do we need to file a copyright? Maybe that's a larger question.
It's as I say, it's simply because that's your ticket into court or into any kind of claim. in the United States, the only way you could have the claim in court, or even in this Copyright Claims Board, is to register.
Okay,
So,
so registration is very important.
right, and you do
Okay.
not have to register at the moment the work is created, but
Mm-hmm.
before going to court, it has to happen. So
Got it.
you
Got
can
it. Got it.
you
Yeah.
can play that as you like,
Yeah. All right.
but the principle is an important one,
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte, right? Which is that copyright adheres to any fixed work. That's the video on your
Mm-hmm.
phone. That's the manuscript in your folder in your drawer. Any of those things are automatically copyrighted.
What about a podcast or a series like that?
Oh, absolutely. Again, anything
Yeah.
fixed in tangible form, as we say, and copyright law has been sort of expanded to include software. So
Got it.
it's not just the
Mm-hmm.
alphabet, but bits and bytes that are now
Yeah. Sorry
have
to
that
interrupt you. I
potential.
know you were on a
No,
roll there,
sure.
but
Well, there's a lot of information here. I want to try to get to a
yeah,
couple of
sure.
pieces more of it. So the next slide, we just want to sort of or talk about how this act really does enable, empower individual creators. It's not in effect yet. The law was passed and signed. It's going to take some time for the Copyright Office to create this Copyright Claims Board. It is expected to be in effect from early 2022. It's the Copyright Office that will put the staff together. But once
Mm-hmm.
that's in place, anyone, individual author, publisher, will be able to file a form on the web and send in a fee that will be decided. Probably then I would expect it to be less than that registration fee. And this then sets in motion a series of choices. So it is, again, a voluntary process. Both sides, both the litigant and the accused, are able to opt out and go into federal court if they like. But this is meant to be a way to resolve these disputes outside of that very expensive process. And in fact,
Mm-hmm.
what many think is that it's going to reduce the number of trolls who are out there with copyright actions of various kinds.
Oh,
Yeah, because
they'll have to come and it's like the challenge to the election, where they showed up in court and they just said, that's bogus.
right.
Yeah.
Right. And here it will sort of dry up a lot of that, because the claims, or I should say I guess that's the word, right? The amount of money that can be won, the awards for damages are also limited. So in
Yes, I
regular
saw that
copyright, right,
$30,000 or something, or
well,
yeah.
$150,000
Oh,
per claim, yeah,
okay.
and damages, that's a little different. Is the 30
Mhm.
is the
Oh, I
30K,
see. Yeah.
yeah, but that's significant because some
Yeah.
copyright claims can be for many millions of dollars.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have the 250,000 to fight the larger case, you can, right? Or
Right. Well, and certainly if it's worth it to you. The
yeah.
other thing is, of course, is that it's kind of like any kind of court case. You never know where you're going to wind up and how things are going to turn out.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
it's a real risk to be in court these days.
Yeah.
And as we know, there have been a number of judgments recently in federal court. The Google
Right.
Books case being the most important one, that was actually it turns out that the publishers ended up on the wrong side of that decision. So you really have to
are
be
you
careful.
excited about this in what it means for independent publishers? Do you think it'll be effective?
Well, that's a fair question. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how effective it is. Whether or not the people who are charged with the infringement decide to go with
Mm-hmm.
this arbitration. I think, though, it sends a message, which is that it's an issue that needs to be addressed. That these creators, the publishers, the authors, the
Yeah.
photographers, do have rights. That we should respect their works, and we can't simply just see the internet as a free-for-all, as a free lunch for
Oh,
everybody.
God, yeah, copy and paste,
Right,
Um,
exactly.
yeah, so are you going to go into like the actual like practical steps of filing and?
Well, again, that still has yet to be worked out. But I did want to say, if we go to a slide, I had one that's got a courtroom scene, because I wanted to tell people a bit about who the judges are. It's the next one,
Okay.
Charlie. Yeah, the judges, they won't actually be judges. They'll be known as Copyright Claims Board officers, and they will be appointed by the Librarian of Congress, currently Carla Hayden. And to be considered for the position, they must have represented or presided over a diversity of copyright interests, including those of
Okay.
owners and creators. So I
So they
think
have to know what they're dealing with. Yeah, it's
right.
not going to
It's
be
just
just like some judge off a criminal case or something. Yeah.
absolutely. It has to
Yeah.
be their area of expertise, and they have to be
Mhm.
able to see both sides, because
Mhm.
what we like to say at Copyright Clearance Center is that the copyright is a balance. It's a balance between the rights of the creators and the rights of the users to be able to have access to these works. You can't lock things up either. You want to protect them, but the idea that things should be frozen in amber is, I think, an imbalance. And so
Got it. Yeah.
these particular officers will be there to sort of ensure that balance.
Mhm.
The fee, actually, you asked about it, or someone mentioned that the fee will be at least $100. So I correct myself.
Okay.
But that is less, I believe, than the cost of filing in federal court. So it's not as if it's an imposition. But
And are you getting some? Some good feedback from potential people who might file, or are you getting some feedback from independent publishers and people like that
well,
about
well,
this? Yeah.
what? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was a long struggle. As I say, this goes back to
Yeah.
2013. The Case Act itself was originally, I believe, filed
Mhm.
in Congress in 2018 or 2019. Took a couple of years to make its way through. So it's almost going to be a decade from the time Congress started
Wow.
talking about this to when
Mhm.
actually something can happen. But as I
Mhm.
say, I think it's seen by the copyright um, community as a very positive development.
Good.
And I think, again, what it says to the authors and the photographers is, yes, there is a place for you. We respect your rights,
Mhm.
and because I think many had felt that they were being their rights were being trampled on, and it was only left to the big players to really be able to enforce their rights in court.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope that's useful for people. A colleague of mine, a Copyright Clearance Center, David Davis, has written about this on our copyright.com blog, which is called Velocity of Content. You can find all of that at copyright.com/blog. I also do a podcast called Velocity of Content, and you can
Mhm.
subscribe to that on the usual places. And that's really what I came to say. But I, again, really appreciate the invitation. I don't know if we have questions or how
Well,
you'd
I've
like
kind of
to.
been sprinkling them in, and I'm sure that we have show notes. So wherever you're listening or watching this, you can enter on YouTube. You can still enter questions, and I will make sure Chris gets a chance to answer them. And also,
Right.
Chris, we would love to see if you might be available for our conference in November 5th and 6th. It's going to be an online conference again, virtual. And I think this is a topic that our members are always asking about. So, there's just no end to the possibilities and topics.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
No, I'd be happy to do that.
awesome. Yeah.
Again, I think people will find a lot of resources. The Copyright Office, you have to be careful. I mean, again, like everything on the
Yeah.
internet, you have to check it out, right? So people can be safest for the information provided and not get punked if they go to either copyright.gov, which is the U.S. Copyright Office,
Yeah.
or to our own CCC website, copyright.com.
And you are a private organization, or are you affiliated with?
Oh, it's entirely a private. It's a
Yeah.
not-for-profit private based in Danvers, Massachusetts. Copyright.gov, as we see on the screen there, is the
Mm-hmm.
U.S. Copyright Office. There's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of confusion because of the copyright
Yes.
URLs. But copyright.com is private. We are an organization that brings together publishers, authors, and users. As I say, this notion of balance being what
Yeah.
we're keen to see.
And before I let you go, can people join copyright.com, your copyright clearance center, or do you like have a fee for using it? Or?
Well, no, it's not a membership organization in that sense, but if you have works that you think would be used in various ways, you can list your works with copyright.com. If there are any questions about how to do that, I'd be happy to answer them. And my email, you've had, and share it with the IP&E audience. Definitely.
Yeah, it's Pierre C.
Chris
K. at
Chris K. Make it easy for people. Don't spell Keneally. Who knows how to do that? But
that
Chris
is
K.
the name of the game. Make it easy for
Right.
people. Yeah.
Right.
Well, thank you, Chris. You're the best, and we've learned so much from you over the years. And come back.
Well, very happy to do it. It's nice to see you. Good luck with your work. Take care.
Take care. And now we would like to switch over to our author spotlight. And we have waiting in the wings an author who I very much admire. She's actually kind of my role model in life. Sheryl Davis. I actually publish her work. And Sheryl, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Charlotte?
Are you waking up from making or emerging from making rewards for the Kickstarter?
Oh, that's right. I still have glue all over my fingers.
Either that or the twin boys, the craft projects, right?
Schooling them in the other room at the moment. Yes,
Yeah,
even as we speak.
Right. Well, this is a picture of your the cover of your first book in the. Can you say that name of that?
The mystical, magical, abracadabrical Daniel McDougal McDouglas McFly.
Right. So we were talking about having a contest where people say that 10 times, and like we give an award of some kind.
I think that's a great idea.
I know. I'm into it. Well, tell us a little bit about the book journey. We have about 5 minutes before we turn into a pumpkin or a moon goose or something. I see a moon goose there on your book cover.
Yeah, don't you love the moon geese? They have little jetpacks, and they are, followed by their little trail of magic.
I know.
That was a great addition. So I write these books because they're about the environment and about what children can do to help improve their environment. And one of the major overarching themes of their lives, these new generations. And these books give kids the tools that they need to address these issues that they are quickly going to inherit in a gentle way. So it's sort of an introduction, and I just found that there was a niche that needed to be filled with these messages to young children that not only is this happening on their planet, but that they have the power to do something about it.
Okay. And so your first book was about kind of focusing on land and forests.
And habitat conservation for the endangered Malagasy ii, which is a real little critter. He's got very long fingers.
And he's rendered in the illustrations.
He is.
Yes.
Eric did a great job for that. Yeah.
On the back, he's peeking out from the tree, sort of like.
Yeah.
But so how did you've won a couple of awards for that book, and then you've got another one coming up.
Yes. Well, the first book won 2 Purple Dragonfly Awards. We're very proud of that. It was also endorsed by the Jane Goodall Institute of Nepal. Thank you, Jane and Manoj. And I'm very excited about the next book because it tackles ocean pollution, and it's going to be a good message for kids to be able to empower children to organize their community and do beach cleanups, and not only beaches but lakes and rivers and waterways, and we're all connected to the ocean in some way. And
there's a lot of press right now about the microplastics and all the particles, and how do you avoid, I know you're an author, so you're good at this, and a mom too. But, avoid scaring kids, but like getting them to care enough to get the message of the book and how we have to take care of our environment.
Right. Yeah. I feel personally, and with adults too, that nothing good ever comes out of just paralyzing people with
Yeah.
fear. I think, you have to have solutions provided so that people know that there is a way up and out. And I firmly believe that we can pull ourselves out of this mess with the right tools and organization. So that's what I write about.
And
And kids are smart, they're resilient and they get it. They understand.
Awesome. So the next book, in our couple of minutes remaining, can you tell us a little bit about how that came to be and what you hope to achieve with it?
Right. I want kids to know that they have the power to organize within their community and to be leaders. And I think that that's really important, to create more leaders out there who will say, come on, gang, let's go clean up the oceans and make an impact and set an example, not only for their kids, but for the adults out there. You can learn a lot from kids. In this book, Daniel and his friends ride their bikes down to the beach and notice that it's just full of trash, and they end up, with a little bit of magic and help from some magical dolphins, being able to go under the water and breathe and talk to the dolphins, and realize that something needs to be done and that they have the power to do that.
Illustrations here that were done for this book by Daniel Fiore, who did the activity guide for your last book.
Yeah, they're really great.
I just love Daniel's illustrations. And this is one of the activity. And will you have an activity guide in this new book?
Oh yes. I wouldn't miss an opportunity to have an activity guide. And I think that's just a great idea. And kids get really into it, and the parents get really into it. It's not only for the kids; it's for the grown-ups who take care of them too.
Exactly. And I like nothing better than getting into a nature activity with a kid. And I'm 64. So,
oh yeah, they love it.
It's fun. So there's Daniel Fiore's rendering of Daniel McDouglas McFly.
That's right.
Yes, and I had flashed you're doing a Kickstarter to finance the illustrations, and let me just flash back to that. It's kickstarter.com/projects/Daniel McFly Book 2. And how you doing on that campaign?
We're doing pretty well. We're a little bit over halfway there. So it's kind of slowed down a little bit. So I'm hoping for that next bump. I'm going to release a little bit of the new manuscript. So I think that should help. So just give people a little bit of an idea of what it's going to be about.
And what are the rewards? I mean, and Kickstarter has some rewards for different types of levels of contribution.
So we can do an environmental shout out. So I can blog or talk about on my website, things that are of importance to people, and with their names if they choose, first names. And I've been making seed tins with they'll be full of heritage wildflower seeds and some tree seeds for those who sign up for that.
Of course, instructions to plant them and stuff like
that's
that.
right. Yes, and Jiffy pellets. Love those little things.
Those are the best. Yeah,
I love
did
them.
Some trees. When your first book, we gave away some things, and
yes,
I made giant sequoia seedlings, and one of my friends still has that.
Right. So aren't those so fun? Cool. You can grow your own giant sequoia tree.
I know.
And you can bonsai them as well, I hear. So
that's what she's doing. She takes it out on her boat, and she lives on a boat in the summer, and then she goes down to Florida, and she takes it everywhere she goes.
Yes. So that's great. The kids love that. Oh, I'm gonna grow my, grow a giant sequoia tree. And so then what else is? Yeah, we have, the original book, of course, and then a new book. Hoping hoping to get that funded so we can get that printed and out there into hands.
So they'll get a
and
signed edition.
right.
Okay,
By
good.
by me.
By
Signed by me.
me.
And I have some plans for a really cool chicken tractor.
Chicken tractor.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
love
for
a
those
chicken
who have,
tractor.
right. Well, we can put one under your stairs, right?
Yes,
Just a little chicken
absolutely.
tractor.
If I can convince my family that I need chickens.
Yeah, I'll help you on that front.
Okay, thank you.
And then we're developing some. I'm really excited about this. We're developing some a year's worth of seasonal permaculture and sustainability activities, like a curriculum for kids, and I'm being co-developed by me and my mother. She's a professional educator and curriculum writer, so it's going to be pretty spot on. I'm
Those
excited.
are valuable.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
But do you are you hoping for the big bucks, or is any contribution okay?
Oh, any contribution. We're trying to make it over that goal, and it's an all or nothing campaign. So,
Oh, so you don't get the
right,
the money.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So well, best of luck on that.
thank you.
I think that your message resonates with people these days, especially, as we kind of realize the crisis we're in and the
Yes,
importance of teaching our kids about these
right.
issues.
And I feel super called to that front as well. I'm working on a master's degree in sustainability now because I couldn't imagine doing anything else with my life. So,
Yeah, I'm
and my kids
glad.
are watching, so it's important for me.
You're, so you have twin boys, right?
Yeah, Sagan and Solon, they're 8, and they hold me to a high standard, so
So
I
you're
accept.
doing a master's program, raising 2 8-year-old boys, writing a book,
And trying to save the world.
and trying to save the world. What could be better?
All in a
Well,
day's work, right?
we're in your corner, and
Thank you.
we love what you're doing. We're going to wrap it up here, and we would like our audience to remember to connect with us on Facebook TV. It's blogged at piercepress.com. So piercepress.com, and Sheryl's showing her book, / Face the Book TV. So you can see what our latest episode is. We deal a lot with, as I mentioned at the beginning, the process of publishing, not so much the writing, but how to get your book out there, like Kickstarters and things like that. We talked about public domain with Chris Keneally. We appreciate him very much for being here. And then if you're on the internet, which most people are every day, use these hashtags: Face the Book TV and IPNE member, IPNE member, if you're a member of the Independent Publishers of New England. And we will track you down and give you some goodies. We love to just get the engagement and get the word out about what we do for independent publishers. Once again, we were honored to have Christopher Keneally from the Copyright Clearance Center as our guest expert. Eddie Vincent wasn't able to come today, but he'll be back next week, or in 2 weeks, for our next issue, and I will tell you about that in a second. Author Spotlight, thank you so much, Sheryl. You're the best.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Doing what you're doing. I'm so impressed. You are my role model, truly.
Oh, same here. Thanks, Charlotte.
Yeah, no, it's true. And I'm the producer. I'm Charlotte Pierce. My company is Pierce Press. Kind of easy to remember, I hope, piercepress.com. And in 2 weeks, we will have an episode, Fantastic Book Covers and How to Create Them.
Ooh.
Or have someone else do it. That'll be on June 10th, and it's going to be wonderful. It's the reason we're doing it is because I think it's sometimes people don't realize how important a book cover is. You have about 2.5 seconds to get someone's attention in a bookstore or on Amazon or wherever you're selling your book cover is displayed. And if they have to think too hard about what your book is about, you need to reconsider how you've presented it. So Once again, Sheryl, you're a genius and a gem, and we will see you, we will see you at our next author closure meeting.
Excellent. See you backstage, Charlotte.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, see ya.
Bye.
Bye.